Hi everyone, and welcome to another Sketchbook Sunday episode. Today's painting is based on these two photos that I took while on a trip in Switzerland a couple of years ago, so let's get into it. I didn't really know what to chat about in today's Sketchbook Sunday episode, but I was thinking about Switzerland because I was looking at all of my beautiful photos that I took, wondering which ones to use as photo inspiration. And I don't know, you may have noticed that I use a lot of my travel photos as inspiration for my paintings. And that's because when I travel, I typically travel to beautiful natural areas because that's just what I love immersing myself in. I'm not so much about food and culture, I'm more about beautiful natural destinations. So that's sort of my travel style. And while I was looking at my Switzerland photos, I kind of caught myself thinking and wishing that I was there again. I've been to Switzerland actually 2 times, and the photos that are being used as a reference for this painting, those were taken on my most recent trip a couple of years ago when both my fiance and I went there. We specifically cycled through the Alps in Europe, and the Swiss Alps and the Italian Alps were sort of part of that trip, and I swear I could just spend all of my time in the mountains there. I feel like the hikers that hike there, and in general the locals in the alpine regions, have a respect for Mother Nature that I just haven't witnessed here in Canada. Like I cannot recall ever seeing garbage in natural areas in Europe, specifically in the Alps. Everything is always spotless. All you see are footprints and nothing else. And I wish that people here in Canada and in general in North America would have the same respect for Mother Nature as a lot of Europeans do. So the first time that I was actually in Switzerland, because I was thinking about Switzerland so much, was also with my fiance, but at the time we had just met. We had probably met a couple, maybe 3 or 4 days before that, and we decided to travel together for a while, and we were just pitching our tent wherever we felt like it and sleeping in there for the night, and then continuing on hitchhiking the next day to wherever people would take us. Basically, we just wanted to be in the mountains and in beautiful natural areas. And I remember one of my favorite nights in the mountains was spent on this trip, and basically, I really wanted to go to Switzerland just so that I could say that I've been to Switzerland, because when I had met Chris, my fiance, we were in Italy. But we weren't too far from the border of Italy and Switzerland, so we decided we're just going to go there for a day or two just so I could check Switzerland off of my bucket list, not knowing, of course, that I would end up traveling or cycling through Switzerland a few years later with that same guy that I had just met. But anyway, back to the story. We had hiked up this random mountain that we had chosen, and it took us a lot longer than we thought, and that's because the signs in Switzerland and other specific European countries, in terms of length of time needed to hike certain hikes, are grossly under exaggerated. And I think it's just because Europeans or the Swiss, they're just really fast hikers. So this one particular hike took us a lot longer than we thought it was. We thought we were going to get up on top of this mountain and back down on the same day, but we ended up having to sleep at the top, which I didn't mind at all because it ended up being one of the most awesome nights ever. Once we got to the top, it was quite cold, and so we quickly found a sheltered spot to set up our tent, and we quickly cooked some dinner and got in. And like I said, I had only known my fiance at that point for like a couple of days, and he had a little blow-up mattress that was backpack sized, or not backpack sized, but it was just easy to blow up and then compress back into the bag, while I had this really crappy little piece of foam. And he was so sweet enough to offer to sleep on my crappy piece of foam so that I could have a comfortable night's sleep. And that night was just so nice. We talked for so long and we really bonded, having only known each other for a couple of days. But I have many more beautiful travel stories, especially ones in the mountains. So if you want to hear more, stay tuned for future Sketchbook Sundays. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I will see you in next week's episode.